Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Bottom left hand corner, we got Neoko starting as the Midnight Blue Protoss once again. Mevious starting as the Orange Protoss. Again, we're currently tied, or sorry, not tied. Mevious up a game over Neoko. I feel like I've been doing a bad job with some of the scores overall. Huh, this is interesting. The blue here does not look like it matches the blue there, but regardless, this is on Polestar, larger macro-oriented map. You got the, I do want to note, just because it's been an issue on some of these maps, you got the minerals that you can get rid of. I do think this mineral field that narrows the ramp a bit, unless you're getting aggressive with your initial probe and get first scout, it does make 2-gate solid a little bit harder to pull off, potentially. But if you get that first scout, and you can sneak that mineral field when your opponent's not watching, it really opens up, because now it's a huge wide ramp and a lot harder to defend. But we'll see if, and I don't know that either. I have yet to see a PvP engagement. I've seen Terran take advantage of that. Artosis talks about taking advantage of that on various maps quite often, where he likes opening up the ramp so vultures have an easier time scooting by, things like that, or if he's going to go for a pressure attack, has more success. But in PvP, I've not seen that utilized all that often. Or if it has happened, I have missed it. Been negligent. First gateway down for both players. Scooting out. It looks like... So a 9-gate, both directions. Both players, speaking of initial probe scouts, going towards the right-hand side of the map, so they're both going to end up... Neither player is going to end up scouting each other first. Looks like we do have a gas grab. No gas grab yet from Mevious, and we are in fact seeing a... I think that was actually a 9-12 instead of a 10-12, but effectively a 10-12 gate here for Mevious. And unfortunately for him, not getting first scout. I'm hoping I see that now, actually, down the line, and I want to see a Protoss take advantage of that. Once I do, remind me, YouTube land, somehow, that when I see that, I should be like, yeah! Anyway, probe coming across, unfortunately with the scouting pattern. Oh, look at the probes. Headbutting a little bit. Aggressive love nuzzle. Except they're at war and trying to destroy each other, so I guess it doesn't exactly work that way. Cybernetics core warping in. Do you suppose that the Protoss are limited by the amount of these? Is that like why they need the mineral fields? To have these gigantic minerals up top? Why don't they harvest that to keep the army running? Alright, is this just this? Are pylons just the mineral field? That would make so much sense. And that crystal just the mineral field? Holy cow. I'm just having sudden revelations, and I wonder if that makes these dots here on the cybernetics score similar deal. It runs on crystals. Anyway, probe making its way top left. I digress. Making its way top left, the zealot chasing around. The 3 zealots have been spotted. 2 of the zealots are getting distracted by the probe. That is really going to negate the effectiveness of this initial assault, and it's a 2-gate. Looks like the gas has also been spotted. That's huge, actually, for Neoko to know how to defend this. The probe drawing back. We have this Dragoon and another Dragoon on the way, and these 2 zealots spent so much time chasing that probe. I wonder if a Manor Pylon is also in the works here. Potentially here from Neoko. First Dragoon making its way out, and this zealot's alone. He's just gonna have to sit here and take damage. It looks like he is at least going to be able to wander up and get a shot, but he's already got a lot of base damage. Shield battery is there. I don't think Neoko needed that shield battery to defend against this, honestly. The zealot, is it going to exchange? Because yeah, now the second Dragoon's out by the time those additional zealots are in the pile. Nice little bit of exchange and re-healing here. And 1 zealot gone, 2nd zealot gone, and they got nothing. Are they going to get some probes? Neoko not microing briefly. That probe taking some shots, and not even a probe going down. Oh, a brutal, and the probe still alive for Neoko inside Mevious's base, so getting initial scout. The Dragoons are going to make their way back across, so at the very least the lack of range starting up is going to be denied. 1 gate, shield battery technically into robotics, range going to finish much earlier here from Neoko. And interestingly enough, Mevious has a pad of resources. He's now dropping, so he's now going for range. 2nd gate tacking on here, interior to the base, so it looks like it is in fact going to be 2-gate rather than 1-gate robotics as far as a follow-up, but a 3rd gate dropping here for Mevious. A little bit surprised by the decision to go a third gate here from Mevious rather than going for something more along the lines of 2-gate into an attempted expand. Range just now finishing for Neoko. I'm wondering if he's going to opt to move out onto the map and get a little bit aggressive with this. The thing with the 3-gate, well, we'll see what happens in the build order for Neoko. He is up 2 workers right this second. Do we have probes pausing as well? Yeah, I think this actually might be a probe pause for Mevious as well. So is he going to drop a robo in the midst of this? Yeah, another pylon. So he's pausing on 21 probes. I thought 23 was where you paused this, but I could be wrong. Fanning the Dragoons out to deny any sort of scouting information. We do have an observatory plopping down here. And we also have the robotic support bay for Neoko in the background. So you're going to have, and there's the observer queued up. So I'm going to guess it's going to go observer into Reaver. And I don't think the timing of this is going to work out for Mevious. He hasn't gotten range completed yet. So he's got 7 Dragoons. That's going to be based on how that works out. 7 Dragoons already down here, but he's actually going to be down a Dragoon as it's fielding out. The Reaver's going to be on the way, and it's going to be high ground to low ground, and the observer should see the army making its way across. Mevious positioning as though he wants to grab the Nexus in the midst of this, even though he paused the worker. So yeah, the Dragoons have been spotted. So we got 9. Neoko was thinking about expanding. He's going to draw back. 6 and a Zealot. 2. Oh, he supply blocked him. Okay, never mind. For a second there, I thought there was a supply block, but it was just the front of the Dragoons. The Reaver is going to come out, and the Reaver plus the Observer should be able to bully the rest of this back. And Neoko ahead on the worker count from there and should be able to get his Nexus up in pretty good timing. Mevious actually dropping his Nexus. The Observer making his way back across rather than sitting engaging. Second Reaver queued up. Also, Mevious playing this as more of a soft contain than an aggressive interior contain. And so Neoko's actually going to be able to walk onto the low ground if he wants to here. Although he'd have to go quite the distance to try to get a pot shot on that Dragoon line. Full control group out on the map versus 8 Dragoons and the Reaver on the low ground. Neoko sees the army, but he's still going to go ahead and grab that Nexus. And here comes Mevious. This is brave from Neoko. Not waiting for that additional Reaver. He needs to get a bit, needs to kind of target that interior Dragoon to really make it effective. Ooh, got a big pot shot there. Mevious drawing back, but he's actually going to end up with an earlier Nexus here. Observer, by the way, fanning out, seeing that is in fact 3-gate. Second Reaver on the ground. And Neoko, honestly, I think he's a little bit lucky that Mevious didn't kind of do a group select dive on that Reaver. Because I think if he had, the Reaver would have gotten maybe 1 shot off, and he might have been able to overwhelm from there. What I was more expecting, and it was kind of, that was interesting play actually, because usually you'll see players chunk in the Dragoons into the natural expansion, whereas that Observer on the low ground can just get the pot shots off with the Reaver and open it up. Mevious went for a big chunk, and then plopped back along that exterior line, which meant the Reaver had to go down, which is why I was expecting Neoko to wait for the second, but still paid off. Natural expansion going to come up. He's got 3 Reavers, so he's got a big tech advantage. He's just now dropping his 3rd gateway. Shot on the way, and is a mighty 10 workers up overall. Mevious holding, this is kind of a nice phalanx here. Phalanx is the word I want to use for a group of Dragoons from now on, just because it seems like the Protoss in essence, despite the Terrans being kind of more Imperium-esque, the Protoss just feel very Roman and Imperial, right? People agree with that. Dragoons checking out the rear. Still, okay, we have a Forge and a Citadel of Adun, so a skip of robotics. In these sort of instances, I think this is going to work out for Mevious, mostly because in these instances, part of the problem is you have to wait for Psystorm and Zealot leg speed and +1 weapons to equalize. 4 gateways up for him, by the way. But looks like we have a Citadel of Dune Templar Archives already. 2 Dark Templars queued up. That actually might be game. Let's see when Mevious builds his, because he's got no detection. He built the Forge, but has not dropped any cannons, and is basically in, yeah, I think Neoko noting that there's absolutely no cannons out here. So the Dark Templar can basically just march their way across the map. They could wreak havoc on the Dragoons up here if they felt like it. That would kind of give forewarning, but actually might just be able to get in the probe lines. trade positions and win the game from there. Yeah, walking through the lines momentarily. I think that might be it, and that would be really unceremonial, honestly. Yeah, and he can just trade. He can move one Dark Templar into the main. They look really cool in that midnight blue, I have to say. Yeah, one Dark Templar making its way into the main. There go the probes. And keep in mind, Mevious was already down workers. Does he even spot it? I don't know that he spots it. There's the Temp Archives as well. Okay, now he spots it and is drawing back. Trying to drop the cannon in that space. Dark Templar able to force a cancellation, and I think that's game. Wow, went so far just to have it kind of collapse right here. 2 Dark Templar making having a field day now. Oh, brutal. Yeah, there's GG from Mevious. Man, rough. Looked like he did a brief counterattack of the Dragoons, but you got 4 Reavers here. He wasn't going to get through that. Oh, well, okay. Tied up 1 apiece. We will move on to game 3. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.